Will Smith is a tragic and cautionary tale for the modern man. Whether it was fighting aliens or zombies, Will Smith, on screen, helped define masculinity for an entire generation. He pretty much set the standard for how to be the nice guy, not take anybody's crap, spread laughter, and get the girl all in one. Handsome, strong, funny, badass, musician, crossover actor from goofy teenage comedian to heart-wrenching, mature stories of perseverance, carefree dancer, rich, well-respected, and a master at his craft. Women wanted him, men wanted to be him, or at least know and hang out with him. The guy didn't just seem to have the whole package. The guy was the whole package. Now, the sad facts are, he's added a new wrinkle to that definition. That masculinity has no true volition of its own, and is only useful when wielded by toxic femininity. By now you've heard of the incident at the Oscars. Because of his stardom, it's hard for many of us to know how to react appropriately. Millions of people around the globe have an emotional connection to Will Smith, a parasocial relationship with him. So, if you like the guy, you're deeply torn between the sense that what he did was wrong and your emotional desire to let a friend off the hook when he's sinned. If you're the 5% of the world who doesn't like the guy, you're taking this as an opportunity to see how many soapboxes you can stack on top of each other before you need a ladder to climb to the top of them. So many memes and silly, unthoughtful commentaries being thrown around right now, along with some that may be going a little too deep, like people who are amazed at how he defended his wife's honor. Also, deep criticisms of Smith as an unwitting opponent of free speech while putting Rock up as a champion of the First Amendment. And then, of course, there's the conspiracy theory that it was all a fake for ratings and such. And while I currently think the fake theory is utter nonsense, so many of us have realized recently that virtually everything on the news is fake that I don't blame their cynicism one bit. But as sad and confusing as this whole thing is, I'm really glad to see that people are starting to call out Jada. Will is in an abusive relationship, and it's time to stop pretending like it's funny. She's a disgusting whore, a spouse abuser, a child abuser, and inches from a pedophile. And what's worse, she's demeaned and gaslit that poor man so much that she's got him convinced that her sin and abuse of him is actually good and right. She's got her manipulation down so well that she basically dog whistled him to attack another man on television with not so much as a glare from her. For his own sanity and for the salvation of his family, he needs to leave her and gather up his children, repent from his contribution to this mess, and never look back. Perhaps this incident will open the eyes of some of us who see similar things happening closer to home. Nonetheless, Will Smith is a cautionary tale for the modern man. He is what domestic abuse looks like when the man is the victim and the woman is the unrepentant perpetrator, and our modern society is rampant with it. Proverbs reminds us that while a wise woman builds her home, a foolish woman tears it down with her own hands. I mean, let's face it, our society hates men. The idea that there is some sort of war on women while men enjoy some sort of undefinable but universally agreed upon privilege is perhaps the gaslight of the century. It is specifically designed to weaken a society at precisely the point where it is strongest and most willing to resist tyranny. And believe me, if a domineering and manipulative wife can bring the legend and hero of Independence Day to his knees, then there truly will be no hope for us when an actual crisis hits. And of course, that's the point, but I digress. His situation is a rebuke to all our churches for teaching women to be extra picky, but men to simply take the first woman who will have you. They deliberately fail to teach that not all women are princesses, and that you can tell a good woman because as a man, you can have full confidence in her that she will bring you good and not harm. It's time for our culture to truly live up to its feminist ideals. Women have waited just far too long for equality, and it's time that we yielded it to them. So, when women are known to be abusing their husbands, it's time to stop joking about it or looking the other way. It's time to start encouraging that man to get help or leave her. When it's known that a woman is abusing her children, it's time to take them away from her. When it's known that a woman is preying on other children or grooming them down a dangerous path, it's time to publicly confront her in the way that we are all too eager to do when we suspect that behavior of a man. And it's time for the few men who have been liberated from the shackles of our oppressive culture by the renewing of their minds to be the liberators of other men when they see them weighed down by the demands of our culture to honor and obey any and all wickedness, as long as it's a command that comes from the mouth of a woman, your woman. No wrong action magically becomes the right thing to do just because a woman told you to do it. But we teach our sons in our society every day that this is so. Young men, and apparently older men, as Smith is now 53. Invariably, if you allow yourself to be ruled by women or by a woman, then you will most assuredly come to ruin. If you ever find yourself in a relationship with a woman where you feel pressured to prove your manhood over and over again, especially by performing dangerous stunts or acts of violence to yourself or others, then run. Run as fast and far away from that woman as possible. As a man, one thing you must remember: a woman like that will trick and lie and manipulate you into all sorts of buffoonery. And if it was you doing that to her, the entire world would rush to her aid and give her a pass. But because you're a man, the world will inevitably hold you responsible for your own actions, where they would have let her off the hook. You do not play by the same rules, and therefore, you are even more vulnerable when it comes to dealing with a manipulative mate, because you will do something stupid, and then you'll reap the unbridled consequences afterward. Our society wholeheartedly believes that a man should do virtually any and everything his woman tells him to do, but it also definitely holds him responsible for whatever happens when he does so. Both are wrong, both are unfair, but both are true. Will Smith taught a whole generation what it could look like to be both the nicest guy and most masculine guy in the room at the same time. Now he's teaching us how important picking the right woman is. Forget about how hot she is, how awesome her career is, or how churchy she is, or any of the other stupid, shallow, and fake criteria that we use to assess potential mates. Choosing the right woman is far more important than the house you buy, and yet most guys agonize about their real estate more than they do picking a wife. Well, you can buy and sell houses all day long, but trading in wives for a better one only makes you look like a fool. Letting your wife pick fights that you need to go clean up through faux chivalry and chest beating makes you a certified fool. Allowing your wife to continuously put you in situations that damage your reputation and put you and your family in harm's way is utter foolishness. Choose wisely and avoid the pitfall that Will Smith has fallen for. Yes, some people are talking about what a snake she is, but at the end of the day, Will is the one that looks like a fool to the world. The idea that he should accept abuse and then turn around and have to do stupid antics to prove his worth to a worthless woman? If you're in that situation, be honest with yourself about it. Seek help before you end up like Smith, just another otherwise decent man made to play the villain by a treacherous woman that he should have known better than to be associated and ultimately controlled by. Do not give your strength to a snake. Preserve it for the Lord. All else is ruinous.